Hello everyone, Cindy here with Monarch Mom DIY. Thank you so much for joining me today on my channel where I love to bring you the best tips and tools to inspire you to create beautiful home decor on a budget. Today I am here from our family vacation in Colorado. I have my top 12 beach home decor DIYs for you today. So with all that being said, let's get crafting. For today's first DIY, we're going to make this lighthouse out of some terracotta pots, some tumbling tower blocks, some shells, some rope, and one of these solar lights from Dollar Tree, as well as some paint. And so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to paint all of my pots. I have 4 different sizes here, and I'm going to paint these with some white acrylic paint. So just to give them a really good coat on the outside, the bottom, and like the top lip of the top there. And then I have 2 different sizes of terracotta saucers, and I'm going to paint these with black acrylic paint. Next, I have these 8 tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree that I'm going to paint with my black acrylic paint as well. Now for my largest saucer, which is going to be the base of my lighthouse, I decided I wanted it to be blue. So I'm taking just some deep blue acrylic paint. I believe this is from Michael's, and I'm now painting over that black layer that I painted at first. I found with terracotta, it is good if you do a primer kind of layer of paint first before your colors. Now I want to add a little bit of color around the edges here on all of my pots. So I'm just using some painter's tape to tape off that top edge of each of my pots. And then we're going to paint these with some paint as well. I'm using this kind of tealish color just to bring in another blue to the project. Once all my pots were painted and dried, I'm going to use some Fix-All adhesive from Dollar Tree to stack them all on top of each other. They fit a little bit inside each other, so I'm putting glue around the lip and sometimes a little bit on the inside as well, so it grabs onto that next biggest pot. So here you can see I've got my big saucer, my largest pot, my second to largest pot, and I'm just fitting those on there, and now I have all 4. Now on the very top, I'm going to put my small black saucer that we painted black, and then I'm going to take 2 of my tumbling tower blocks, lay them flat, and then I'm taking 4 more and kind of putting them around in a square like this. So I'm actually only going to use 6 of the blocks that we painted. Now I'm going to take the solar light and I'm going to put some glue on the bottom of that and glue that to the top of our lighthouse. So if this does go outside, the solar light should collect some energy and then it would light up at night. Next, I'm taking some small pebbles from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to use some small shells, and I'm just gluing these however you want around the base of my lighthouse, that big blue saucer. Next, taking a few pieces of nautical rope, I'm kind of making it look like this top section where the light is roped off. So I'm making 4 little U shapes of the rope and gluing those to the tumbling tower blocks. Next, taking a pencil, I'm just going to draw out a door and some windows on my terracotta pots. And then once I have those drawn how I like them, I'm going to paint them with some black paint. My final touch for my lighthouse is just to go around each of the pots with 1 length of nautical rope, and then our little lighthouse will be finished. For DIY number 2, we're going to make this shiplap and rope beach sign. I have this frame that I painted with a nice blue and distressed with some brown. I have some 1-gallon paint stir sticks, 5 colors of Waverly chalk paint, and some of the white cotton nautical rope. Now this frame just happened to have a 12-inch space here for the picture, so I'm just filling that up with 1-gallon paint sticks, and then I'm going to split them into groups. I'm going to paint some pool, some antique wax, some mineral, some elephant, and some white. So I'm going to then glue them into the back of my frame here, just doing a random order of the sticks, and I'll do the notches down and then the notches up, going back and forth to fill in the frame with these gorgeous sticks to give it that shiplap look. And here's what it looks like with all the paint sticks in there. I love this look so much. It just says beach to me. Then taking a length of the white cotton nautical rope, I'm spelling the word beach in kind of a cursive format once I have it how I want it and the excess trimmed off. I'm now going to go around and with little spots of hot glue, glue down the word beach, and I love this so much. I think it's so cute and makes such a nice big addition to my beach bathroom, my downstairs bathroom in my house. For DIY number 3, we're going to make a faux driftwood seahorse using one of these seahorse signs from Dollar Tree, also a white grapevine wreath from Dollar Tree, and some Waverly chalk paint in the color elephant. So we're first going to take our grapevine wreath and I'm just going to break it apart in a bunch of smaller pieces. I want it to kind of look like driftwood twigs, and we're going to break enough pieces of this so that it fills in the shape of our seahorse. You can see I'm starting to do this here, just breaking them and fitting them where they need to go. Now, I was going to use the glittery side of the seahorse, but I decided just to instead use some white Waverly chalk paint and use the back side. So I'm going to paint the entire back side of our seahorse with white paint. Then once the paint's dry, you can see I'm going to lay across all the little sticks and then hot glue those down until we have the entire seahorse covered. You can easily trim these sticks, and I just love how this turned out and hanging in our beach bathroom. DIY number 4 is a mirror in the shape of a captain's wheel. I'm using one of these frisbees and a mirror from Dollar Tree, as well as some paint sticks, some jute twine, and some white paint. So the first thing I'm doing is cutting away this center section of this Dollar Tree frisbee. We're gonna have this space open so that we can put our mirror there in the center. Now that we have our frisbee cut, I'm gonna choose also 8. You can use the giant craft sticks. I happen to have these ends of the 5-gallon paint sticks that we're going to use for this mirror. So we're going to first take our white Waverly chalk paint and give our blue frisbee a coat of this paint to cover up the shine and to cover up the blue as well. And we're also going to use the white chalk paint to paint all 8 of our little ends of the 5-gallon paint sticks. Next, taking our round mirror from Dollar Tree, we're going to gently push out the back so that we can remove the backing as well as the mirror so that we can paint the frame of the mirror. I must have used this for something else because it was glued on there pretty good, but I'm just gonna take that white paint again, and it doesn't have to be a solid coat. It's okay if some of the black shows through, and just give that a coat of the white Waverly chalk paint. Now coming back to the Frisbee, I'm taking some truffle chalk paint and a chippy brush, and I just want to make this look a little old and distressed. So you can see I'm just lightly brushing some of the brown truffle paint around the Frisbee just to give it that old worn look. And I'm also going to do the same thing with our 8 pieces of the paint sticks. Now taking some jute twine, this is a thicker one that I got at Walmart. I'm going to wrap that inner circle of the Frisbee with the jute twine. This is a part of this project that definitely takes the most time, but I really love the look of it when it is finished. So I'm just going to cut lengths of this and keep wrapping it until I need more. So you will probably want to use multiple long pieces of jute twine until you get the entire thing covered. Once you do, you're going to take those 8 pieces of the paint sticks and you're going to glue them basically at north, south, east, and west, and then the other 4 between those 4. So you can see here what I'm doing. I'm just gluing these to the back of the Frisbee until I get all 8 of them attached. And now we're going to take our mirror and we're going to glue this back on top of the jute twine. And we're then going to be finishing off this captain's wheel mirror. Looks awesome. And the last thing you'll want to do is add a piece of twine so that you can easily hang this on a nail or a push pin. If you're stopping by my channel for the first time today, welcome. I'm so glad that you found me. I hope you'll consider sticking around by hitting that subscribe button. I hope everyone will tap that bell. Make sure your notifications are set to all, so YouTube should let you know each time I upload a new video or go live here on my channel. And a big thank you to all of my returning viewers and subscribers. DIY number 5 is a glass gem fish decor. I'm using one of the fish signs this time from Dollar Tree, a large framed mirror from Dollar Tree, some burlap ribbon and some netting, and of course the blue and green gems, glass gems from Dollar Tree. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the backing from the frame, and we're going to paint this. Right now it's a very plastic looking brown, and we're going to paint it just so it blends in a little bit better with our beach decor. This is by Michaels, it's Art Minds, it's called Sea Glass. Next, we're going to take this fish sign from Dollar Tree and remove the ribbon hanger from the back. You can try to get all the glitter and stuff off the front, but I decided it would be easier just to remove what I could of this sticker. And then we're going to paint the entire back of this fish sign with our Waverly chalk paint in the dark gray color called Elephant. Next, you can see I took the glass gems from Dollar Tree and I laid them out around the fish shape. Once you have them how you like them, then you can go about gluing them down one at a time with the Fix All adhesive. You can see some parts of the fish through, which is why I'm glad I painted it gray so that it kind of blends in. So once you have all of these glued down, I'd suggest that you let it sit for a while because it is pretty heavy, and you want to make sure those glass gems are completely stuck to the fish before you try to move it. Now coming back to our frame, we're going to remove the paper and the glass for now, and we're going to wrap the backing with 2 pieces of this burlap ribbon just to cover up that black backing or the white, whichever one you want to use. I decided to go with the black. So I'm just cutting these to size, and then I'm going to hot glue them, wrap them around and hot glue them to the back side to get that nice covering for our project. Next, I'm going to take one of these decorative nets from Dollar Tree. This is usually in the party section in the summertime, and I'm laying it across the burlap. I want to trim this so that I can add this into our project just to kind of go along with the beach or nautical theme. This stuff really likes to move around, so once you get it laid how you want it, just go ahead and trim it, and then we're going to put the glass back over the top so that it holds it in place. I didn't try to make it look perfect or anything, just get some of it in there. Then once you get the frame on, you can go around and glue it, and then we'll trim off all that excess of the netting that is showing there on the back. And the last step for this project is just to glue that fish onto the front of the glass, and you have a really nice looking large size beach decor. DIY number 6 is this ombre anchor wall canvas. I'm taking a large canvas, I believe it's 16 by 20. I printed out an anchor that I found online, some jute twine, and actually I'm going to use nautical rope instead, and some blue and white paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm measuring my canvas here, and I'm going to divide it up into, I believe it's 7 different sections. So taking white paint here, I'm going to put about the same amount in each of my little cans for mixing, and then in each can I'm going to do different amounts of blue paint so that I get a bunch of different shades of blue. Now I'm just taking my yardstick and I'm just drawing a light pencil line where each of my sections is going to be of my canvas. I'm going to do white at the very top, and then I'm going to do my 5 different shades of blue, and then the actual blue by itself at the bottom. And I absolutely love how this turned out with the different shades. Now, I'm showing you 2 different sizes of the anchor, and what I'm going to do here is I cut it out and then I'm tracing it with a pencil onto my canvas. I had seen this quote somewhere and I thought, you know what, that would be really cool on a canvas in our bathroom. It is not a Bible verse, I don't believe, but it definitely is a biblical principle. So once I have my anchor traced out, I'm going to fill that in with some brown paint, let that dry, and then I'm going to pencil in my words before I trace them with paint markers and then finish off this project. So whenever I'm going to hand letter some words and then use paint marker, I just go one time around and then I go back over it and kind of make the letters a little thicker. Here I'm taking some of the white cotton nautical rope, and to finish off this project, I'm just framing out the canvas with it. I have glued the white rope to the side edge all the way around on our canvas, and I love this. I love seeing it. You can also see I did some accents on the anchor with some gold and black paint markers as well. DIY 7 are some beach candlesticks. You can use 2 of these jars from Dollar Tree, some sea glass, some nautical rope, some tea light battery candles, and any candlesticks you find, whether you get them at Dollar Tree. These I happen to get at a thrift store. So I cleaned them up. They were kind of, I don't know what style you would call this, but I'm going to end up covering that up anyway. So once I cleaned them, I'm going to give them both a coat of my Waverly chalk paint in mineral. Then while our candlesticks are drying, I'm going to add just a little nautical touch to these candle jars with some nautical rope, just gluing it around the rim of the lid. Then I'm going to add some pieces of this sea glass to the bottom of the jar. Of course, you could use small shells. You could use the little pebbles that are at Dollar Tree if you can't find the sea glass. But only a few pieces will fit in the bottom because that tea light holder does go down pretty far. So once I had those lids back in, I'm going to glue a seashell to the front of each of my little jars. And then we're going to set these up on the candlesticks once we pop in a battery powered tea light. Now that our jars are ready, we're going to come back to our candlesticks. I am going to take some sandpaper and distress this a little bit so you can see some of that dark color showing back through the mineral chalk paint. I'm also going to add some jute twine to this to cover up that style in the middle. I'm still not quite sure what to call it, but it doesn't say nautical to me. So I'm going to cover all that up in the middle on both candlesticks and just let the top and the bottom sections show with the mineral gray. And here's the finished look. I love how they turned out, and these are super easy to put together. Just use some jars that you have and any old candlesticks. Like I said, whether you find them at a thrift store or purchase them from Dollar Tree or somewhere else. DIY 8 is probably the easiest one in this video. We're just taking a pair of these wooden animal fish from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint them with 2 different colors of blue acrylic paint, and then we're just going to string them on a piece of jute twine and hang them in the bathroom. So without much explanation needed, I'm just going to paint these with these 2 different blues. And that's how easy it is. I just love these little fish hanging in the bathroom. For a complete list of all the tools and supplies I've used in today's projects, please open the description box below the title of this video. There you will find links to my Amazon storefront and a complete list for each project of the tools and supplies I used. DIY number 9 are some wooden coastal decor lanterns. I am using actual Jenga blocks for this, but you definitely could make this project using tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. Your lanterns would just come out a little smaller. So here I'm going to use, like I said, these Jenga blocks. I'm going to show you here how many you need to make 1 large lantern and 2 small lanterns. So the first step, I find you get a better finished project if you actually paint all your individual blocks first, and especially because I want to cover up where it says Jenga there. So I have all these tumbling tower blocks I painted truffle. Now this is for a large lantern. You can see I've got 2 blocks on the side, 3 across the top, and 2 on the other side. So 7 blocks. And I'm going to make 4 U-shapes like this, or upside down U-shapes, to make the large lantern. So that means I'm going to need 28 blocks to make my largest lantern. Again, if you're going to use tumbling tower blocks, you'll want to adjust how many blocks you need based on the size. So then once we get these wood glued, we're going to let them dry completely. And then once we have those pieces all dried, you can see now we're going to glue our pieces together. I have 2, 3, and 2, and I'm going to make 4 sets of this for our large lantern. So now we're going to glue these sticks together to form our upside down U shapes. And at the top there, you can see the 4 sets of 4 to make a smaller lantern. So the small lanterns will need 16 blocks, and the large lanterns, like I said, will need 28. So here are my 4 U shapes for my large lanterns. You can see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to glue 1 U shape or C whatever to the center of the one next to it. So I'm always going to be gluing them in this way. So I'm going to put a little glue at the bottom and the top, and you can see I'm going to stick it to that other C right there at the center where you can see those 2 tumbling tower blocks coming together. I'm going to let this dry for just a few moments before I glue my next piece on, but you'll see how we're going to just kind of glue these in a pinwheel, I would say. Oopsie, you should have waited longer for it to dry before you tried to move it. So then put some glue on the next one on the top and bottom, and now we're going to glue it to that second piece right at the center. And then finally the 4th piece is going to fit right there. We're going to put glue on the 2 ends and also on the sides where it's going to meet up with that first set. And now we're gonna glue a set of our small ones together. These are, because they're smaller, you're actually gonna glue them in the middle like this, making the pinwheel a little bit smaller, and it will not have that square hole in the top and the bottom. So once our lanterns are completely dry and the wood glue is firm, I'm taking some sandpaper and I'm gonna kind of scuff these up. I'm gonna distress them with some dark gray chalk paint, and then I'm going to go over it again with some white chalk paint. This is completely up to your discretion. You could make your base color something totally different as well. This is just what I wanted to do as far as colors for a coastal or beach theme decor. Now for inside our lanterns, I'm going to take 1 large and 2 small ball canning jars, and we're just going to add some nautical rope around the big one there. I'm going to do 3 times around the top edge of this ball jar, and then I'm going to use a thicker jute twine on the 2 smaller jars. And here's what our lanterns look like. I absolutely love how these turned out. I tried to cover up the Jenga word with the paint. You can still see it a little bit, but look at this with the pebbles in the bottom and some candles. I think this is so cute, and hope that you guys give it a try. For DIY number 10, we're going to make another mirror. This one I'm calling a Sunburst Stick Beach Mirror. We're going to use these giant craft sticks from Walmart this time, and another one of our round mirrors from Dollar Tree. Now these giant craft sticks I believe are about 10 inches in length, so I'm going to cut a bunch of them in half at 5 inches to get as many as we need to go around our mirror. I'm going to split them into 5 piles. I'm going to leave 1 pile the natural, then we're going to use mineral, white, pool, and antique wax, kind of like we did on the Shiplap beach rope sign. So here I'm painting 8 of them with each color and leaving 8 pieces the natural wood color of the craft sticks. Now, popping the mirror and the backing out of our frame, we're going to paint our frame so it's not black. We're going to give it a coat of our white chalk paint. Then once that's dry and the mirror and the backing are back in, we're going to randomly start gluing our pieces of craft stick around our mirror. You can see I'm gluing the rounded edge so that it's a straight edge that's showing from behind the mirror. And I'm just mixing these up. I'm starting with north, south, east, and west, and then I'll do the 4 in the middle. You'll see here in a second, I'll flip it over and show you what it looks like with these 8 pieces in, and then we're just going to keep filling in until we use all the pieces and we get it completely filled. The last thing I'm going to do is take some more of our nautical rope from Dollar Tree and just glue this around the outside edge of the mirror. And here's the finished mirror. I absolutely love this, and you could do this idea with any color paint you'd like. For DIY 11, we're going to make this coastal pillar candle using a large terracotta pot, one of these glass candle dishes, and some other items from Dollar Tree. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Rust-Oleum satin paint, and I'm just going to spray, I believe it's Colonial Blue is the color. I'm just going to give both the pot and the dish a base coat of this blue. Then I will start distressing and adding color with my chalk paint and this chippy brush. I believe this is the light gray paint color called Mineral. Once that paint's dry, I'm going to use our Fix All adhesive again from Dollar Tree. Do this around the bottom of our terracotta pot, and then we're going to glue our glass candle dish right on top. Or I guess actually I'm going to glue the bottom of the pot onto the bottom of the dish, trying to get that as centered as possible. I decided I wanted to fill in the inside of my candle dish with this nautical rope. So starting on the outside with some Fix All adhesive, I'm going to go all the way around this outside edge. And I was going to stop there, but then I decided just to go ahead and fill in the entire surface of this dish with the nautical rope. So I'm going to switch, I believe, here to hot glue and get that all the way filled in. Next, you can see I'm just going to go one time around the base of our pot as well, just to add a little bit more of that nautical touch to the front side of our pillar candle holder. Next, I'm going to use one of these wood nautical shapes from Dollar Tree. I chose the anchor to glue right onto the front of our pillar candle stand. And then we can add a candle, we can add shells around. I didn't glue these down. I just thought you could place around whatever you'd like to finish off this project. And our last DIY for today is this beach arrow sign that says relax. I'm using one of these wedding signs, some shells, and some different colors of paint. So the first thing I decided to do was kind of to tape off the legs because I was just going to leave those white. 2 of them are attached and only one of them moves, so that's why I used the painter's tape. I'm going to use this navy blue as the base color just so I can cover up the words on the front of this sign. Now this surface was a little shiny, so it did take a couple coats of the dark blue acrylic paint from Michaels, but you're going to see here in a second I did lots of different layers of paint until I was happy with the look that I got. Once I did get the look that I wanted with the paint, I'm going to let that dry completely, and then I'm just going to take one time of jute twine going all the way around to frame out the arrow sign. So I'm just putting a bead of hot glue and then gluing down that jute twine going all the way around the arrow. The tip seemed like a good place to start and stop the jute twine. Once I had that all the way around, I'm going to add a few little shells on either side. In hindsight, I probably should have written and done the word, but I think maybe I wanted to make sure I had room for the shells. So I'm just going to glue a few of these small shells on either side of our arrow, and then we'll write the word relax and get that painted on nice and thick with a white paint marker. So like I said before, I just do the word with one line, and then I will go back, as you'll see here, and I'll make the word nice and thick until I like how it looks. And this is our finished sign. Super cute and easy, and I still have this in my beach bathroom. Thanks so much for joining me today. Please let me know in the comments which of these projects was your favorite, and we'll see you next time. Take care.